What we're looking at is a screenshot of a highly interactive data analytics engine that's displaying the data that's been captured from clinics in Haiti. We're looking at a specific point in time in the past, and it's showing the dots on the screen indicate where a diagnosis of some type has occurred. The color codings do suggest what category of the diseases are, and you're able to drill down and find details. And you can remove categories so that you can only see certain ones. And the alarm clocks represent contagious diseases, things that we need to be alerted about. On the left, you'll see a graph, and we're looking at reports of instances over time for malaria, chickenpox, and cholera. On the right is the more current times in the right side of the graph, but it shows you the different points in time so that what you're experiencing now can be seen in perspective. A tool like this is something that is fairly obvious. Public health officials would love to have something like this, as well as epidemiologists and general researchers. A tool like this does not exist simply, well, it doesn't exist even though it's relatively easy to develop. But the problem is capturing the data. Now there's three reasons that capturing the data is difficult, particularly within developing countries where a tool like this would be most effective. Now, as has been said, there's three reasons that this is challenging. I'm only going to cover the last two because a discussion of all the features needed in developing countries is a long one, and that I will cover in a separate video. But the reason that this is regarded as impossible by many smart people is that clinics are not uniform. They all have, they don't all, but most of them have different needs. You need to be able to customize. And customization is antithetical to data analytics. And the fact is that creating separate sets of software to support each variation is economically and logistically difficult in the extreme and probably impossible. And so what I've done is a completely different approach. What you're about to see are features that are available only within our development shop. Customers cannot do this, but we can take the standard template here, and a customer has seen our presentation, and this is true. I've seen this many times with previous versions of the software. They would say something like, this is perfect, we need it as soon as possible. But first, we need you to make a few small changes. So we're going to run through some of the possible changes that some clinic may want. And they may say, hey, listen, we never take the O2 levels, and we've got some other questions that we want to ask on this screen. I can simply come here, take the O2 level, gone. We can add other things to the screen. And this is where problem number 2 comes in, where customization is antithetical to data analytics. And we make sure that new variables conform to a standard, or anything that they use is derived from a standard. And if they do need to create a new variable, it only works on their side until a time that what they've requested has been approved by our medical staff and promoted then to make it available to other clinics. So things can be found in a number of different ways. Liver, it found all these tests related to the liver. You can find things by categories. demographics, diagnosis, etc. Table names. This is vitals, almost everything related to vitals, and those aren't, the O2 levels show up because we removed it from the screen. Let's go to demo. These are, no screen, but that's category. Demo. These are things just here for this purpose, showing people how powerful this is. We can add a drop down, like phone number, and a radio box. And there's other demos. Now let's see how that works. Now I can change the order, move things around. Drop down is there. We'll add a value here, 37. Phone number. I like this, and I chose it just because it illustrates something. I type in 1. You see that the number of dots expecting conform to the U.S. standard, which happens to be my phone number, should you want to capture this. But in other countries, different numbers of digits. So as much as possible, I've made it difficult to enter a partial or incorrect data. And I'm not going to save this. I did want to show you a couple other things. Vitals is a point-in-time data. That's a little esoteric. I won't explain that. I can change the name on the screen. But data is stored in slightly different ways in most cases, whether if you're between a hospital and a clinic. Clinic, you store vitals once. Hospital, you might. These control and enable me to create a system, customize a system for hospital settings and or for clinic settings. I can do things like the same screen can be used by nurses and doctors, but only doctors can enter certain fields, nurses can't, etc. Very powerful. Ranges, I'll show you that in a second. I'll go back here. We'll just type in 37. And that range is normal. And whenever I produce a normal, abnormal, or severe rendering of a value, it can take into consideration the patient's age, gender, and medical history before determining whether something's normal or outside a normal range. And then finally, when we do this, we can take all the terms that we have on this screen and provide translations for other languages. Save it, and it's effective. Not only can I change any data entry screen easily, I can do things like, our clinic has social workers involved, or chaplains, or whatever. In just a matter of moments, I can accommodate those needs. I come down to the system. We're looking at clinics. I'm going to change it. We'll add save it. Done. And now come up here, menu editor. I'm going to add a button. Now I can change the color and a whole lot of stuff that's extremely powerful, but I'm not going to go into that now. I'll go ahead and disable this without explaining what that is. We'll make it so that social workers are the only ones that have access to this button, or that see it when they're logged in. I save these changes, save the menu, and it didn't work. What did I do wrong? Oh, I'm not logged in as social worker. That's what I did wrong. So I'll make it so that I'm logged in as user. There. Save it. There. Now we have it. I click on social work. It does nothing. I can add any number of programs here, but I'm going to add the data entry screen. Go straight to the data entry screen. And we have a placeholder here. I can update this screen just as easily as I did the other one. Matter of minutes, provide translations, and we're done. So customization for a hospital, for a clinic, can be done typically in minutes. I can do it from my office in Virginia for a clinic anywhere in the world. And what happens is, while the changes may be extensive, the software supporting all this has never changed, making this a viable way of providing customization and maintaining standards.